Why does a child who has never seen a lion, never seen a snake, never seen anything more dangerous than a house cat, still wake up in the dark, certain that something with claws and teeth is waiting for them? Think about that for a second. You have never met a dragon. Neither has anyone you know. No one has ever dug one out of the ground, photographed one, or watched one breathe, and yet you know exactly what it looks like. Long body, hard scales, curved claws, a mouth full of teeth, fire maybe, wings that should be far too small to lift something that size, and yet they lift it anyway. Now here is the strange part. Go to China, and there is a dragon, coiled and serpentine, older than the empire itself. Go to medieval Europe, and there is a dragon, hoarding gold in a cave, waiting for a knight. Cross an entire ocean to Mesoamerica, where not one person had ever spoken to a single soul from China or Europe, and you find a feathered serpent carved into the stone of their greatest temples. Travel to Australia, a continent sealed off from the rest of humanity for tens of thousands of years, and there it is again, the rainbow serpent. Vast, ancient, sleeping beneath the rivers. How does that happen? These people never met, they never sat around the same fire and traded the same story. They were separated by oceans, by deserts, by mountain ranges, by tens of thousands of years of silence, and still somehow, when each of them reached into the dark to name the thing that frightened them most, they all pulled out the same creature, not a similar creature, the same one, a giant reptile, serpent-bodied, clawed, airborne, deadly, drawn on cave walls, stitched into flags, painted onto temple ceilings by cultures that could not possibly have copied one another. So the question is not really why humans invented dragons. The question is why they all invented the exact same one. To answer that, you have to stop thinking of the dragon as a monster and start thinking of it as a memory, because your ancestors did not evolve in a safe world. They evolved in a world that was actively trying to eat them. For millions of years, the small, soft, slow primates that would eventually become you were not at the top of the food chain. They were somewhere in the middle. And in the middle, you get hunted. So what hunted them? Three things mostly. Three shapes of death that stalked the ancient plains and forests and stayed with your bloodline long enough to leave a mark. The first came from the ground. The snake, silent, legless, striking without warning, killing with venom your body had no defense against. The second came from the shadows. The big cat, the leopard, the lion, the saber-tooth, dragging prey up into trees, all muscle and claw and yellow eyes. And the third came from above, the bird of prey. The eagle, the great raptor, dropping out of the sky to snatch a child before its mother could even look up. Now hold those three shapes in your mind at once, a body that coils and slithers, claws and fangs that tear, wings that come from above. Do you see it yet? The dragon is not one animal. The dragon is all three of them, fused together into a single, unforgettable nightmare. It has the long, scaled, coiling body of the serpent. It has the fangs and the raking claws of the great cat. It has the wings and the killing dive of the bird of prey. Your brain did not invent a fantasy. Your brain took the three predators that hunted your ancestors for millions of years, and it stitched them into one creature, the perfect predator, the one that could kill you from the ground, from the trees, and from the sky all at once. That is why the dragon feels so real, even though it never was. You are not remembering an animal you saw. You are remembering an animal you feared, a composite, a collage of every direction death used to come from. And here is what makes that so haunting. You never had to be taught it. Watch a baby, a human infant, only a few months old, too young to have learned almost anything about the world. Show that baby a picture of a snake and something changes in its face. Its attention locks on. Its little body tenses. It has never been bitten. It has never seen anyone bitten. No one told it that snakes are dangerous. And yet the fear is already there, waiting, installed before birth, like a program running quietly in the background. Why would a newborn come preloaded with a fear of snakes? Because the babies who did not fear snakes did not become ancestors. For millions of years, the infants who ignored the coiling shape in the grass were removed from the gene pool, quietly and permanently. And the ones who flinched, who cried, who stayed close to their mother, lived long enough to pass that flinch on. You are descended from the nervous ones, the jumpy ones, the ones who assumed the shadow was a predator and were wrong 99 times out of 100. Because the 100th time they were right, and being right that one time was worth being scared all the others. So the fear was never a flaw, it was a survival system. And that system did not switch off when your ancestors invented houses and farms and cities. It just went looking for new shapes to fill. This is the part most people never think about. Your ancient threat detection system does not care that lions no longer prowl your street. It does not know that eagles no longer hunt your children. It is still running, still scanning, still expecting the claw, the fang, the shape in the dark. And when it finds nothing real to point at, it builds something. It builds the dragon in the cave. It builds the sea monster at the edge of the map, in the empty blue water that no sailor had crossed, where the old charts simply read, "Here be dragons." Not because anyone had seen one, but because the unknown had to be filled with something, and the mind already knew what shape the unknown takes. It takes the shape of the thing that hunts. Look at what happens when you turn out the lights tonight. Your bedroom does not change. The furniture is exactly where it was a moment ago. The coat on the door is still a coat, but something in you knows, deep down, that the coat is now a figure, that the dark corner is now occupied, that if you let your foot hang off the edge of the bed, something underneath it might reach out. You are an educated adult. You know there is nothing there, and it does not matter even a little because the part of your brain that decides whether to be afraid was built long before the part that knows better. That is the same machinery that built the dragon. And it explains why every horror movie, in every country, on every continent, keeps reaching for the same handful of shapes. The thing with too many teeth, the thing that moves wrong, the thing with reptile eyes, the thing that comes from below, or drops from above, or coils around you before you can run. Filmmakers do not have to teach you to be afraid of these things. They just have to remind you they are pressing buttons that were installed in you millions of years ago by predators you never met in a world you will never see. So think again about that child waking in the dark, certain a monster is near. The child is not confused. The child is not imagining things. The child is doing exactly what 100,000 generations of ancestors survived by doing, feeling the presence of the predator before the predator arrives. The monster in the closet is not a lie. It is a fossil, a memory of the leopard and the serpent and the eagle, worn smooth by time until only its shape remains, hiding now in the one place the old fears still have room to live, the dark. And this is why the dragon will never really die. You can explain it. You can dissect it the way this video just did, laying out the snake and the cat and the bird like parts on a table. You can understand precisely where it came from and why it is not real. And tonight, when you switch off the light and the room goes black, some quiet, ancient part of you will still listen for it anyway. Still wait for the scrape of a claw, still half expect the shape to move, because the dragon was never out there. It was always in here, in the wiring, in the flinch, in the oldest part of a brain that spent millions of years learning one lesson above all others: assume the dark is hungry. So the next time you feel that prickle at the back of your neck, that certainty that something is watching from just out of sight, do not be so quick to laugh it off. You are not being childish, you are remembering. And now you know why a child who has never seen a lion, never seen a snake, never seen anything more dangerous than a house cat, still wakes in the dark, certain that something with claws and teeth is waiting for them. It is. It always has been. It just lives inside the skull now, instead of out in the grass. Thank you for watching. Sleep well.